In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we'll celebrate the centennial of the Falmouth Police Department by chatting with one of their longtime members. Get tips on managing the anxiety parents may be feeling as their children return to school this fall, and join Museums on the Green as they recognize 5 Falmouth women for their contributions to our community. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. During his weekly Friday video briefing on October 1st, Falmouth health agent Scott McGann reported that the case count of COVID-19 positive tests had dropped from the previous week in Falmouth, which is good news. However, with the continued virus transmission throughout the Cape and the Commonwealth, residents are encouraged to get vaccinated and follow the local masking guidelines. You can view Scott McGann's weekly video briefings on FCTV Government Channel 15, our Facebook page, and fctv.org. The Falmouth Police Department is celebrating its 100th year anniversary this year, and FCTV sat down with retired Detective Sgt. Richard Corey recently to discuss his time on the force. Sergeant Corey shared some stories and described some of the changes that took place while he was serving Falmouth.
And I was born and raised in Falmouth and graduated from Lawrence High School and went to Burdett College in Boston, graduated from there and got drafted in the service during the Korean War. Ended up in the Marine Corps, and after getting out of the Marine Corps after the Korean War, I took the exam for the police department because there weren't many jobs at that time, and I passed it. So in 1954 I got on, and there were like 12 or 15 men on the department at the time. There was a chief, deputy chief, and a couple of sergeants, and I worked the street beat in Woods Hole for a while, Main Street for a while. It was 1963. I got promoted to sergeant, and I was in charge of one of the night shift, midnight to 8, for a few years. And then at the time, Falmouth was just starting to grow, and we only had one. When I got on, there was only one detective. And his name was Joe Costa. He was the only detective. And then after that, they put a couple of more guys on. So after it got kind of big, they decided they should have someone in charge to do the paperwork. It was court work, and they needed somebody, and thank God with my education, the chief appointed me Detective Sergeant. There was Detective Jim Leno, who handled all the drugs was just starting to come out around, and so he took care of all the drug cases. And then there was Detective Dan Cunha, who did the regular house breaks and stuff. And then there was Paul Carrero, was the other detective, who was involved with the school, with the kids. I guess they call it resource officer now. And so he handled all the things at the school and other small crimes. It was different, of course, different from it is now. And so crime now is a lot different. It's all technical stuff. And before we didn't have all the technology. Like if there was a house break, the sheriff's department had men that would come down, take pictures, fingerprint, and stuff like that. We didn't do that. They did that. I find that the kids and stuff today don't respect the police like they did when I was working. You talk to someone, they respected you, and they didn't answer your back or anything like that. But today, it seems like they have no respect. They carry guns, knives. It's scary out there, and I have a lot of respect for the police now for what they're going through. It's tough.
Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that story. COVID has forced many local organizations to cancel in-person events or move them to a virtual format during the past 18 months. One group of award winners from 2020 was recently celebrated at an outdoor event at the museums on the Green, and FCTV was there to help recognize 5 extraordinary women who have provided outstanding leadership and made significant contributions to the Falmouth community.
Hi, I'm Mark Schmidt. I'm the Executive Director of the Falmouth Historical Society, the Museums on the Green. Welcome to our 2020/2021 Heritage Award event. This event is to honor individuals or organizations that have made a positive impact upon the history, the culture, the fabric of the town of Falmouth. We've been doing this since the year 2000, so this is actually the 21st year we have done it, 21st time we've done it. And originally, these 5 ladies were to have gotten the award in April of 2020, but because of COVID, we obviously had to put that on hold. We tried to do it again in the fall of 2020, the spring of 2021, but again, COVID protocols didn't allow us to do this. So we got together with the ladies. We asked them if we can find a date in the fall and have it outside on our grounds. Would that be something they were comfortable doing? And if people wanted to wear masks and spread out, would that be something that they could do? And they loved that idea. So in days gone by, it's been more of a dinner. This was more of a cocktail party, but really the whole thing was to allow people the opportunity to thank these 5 amazing women for the work that they've done individually and collectively, and honestly to get out of the house that we've all been kind of locked up and tired of wearing masks and tired of COVID protocols. So this was a way that we could have a nice outdoor event. It's the first day of fall, and to show how much we really appreciate these ladies and what it is that they've done.
Hi, this is Margaret Gifford speaking. Now, we're having a great party here, and this is really, this kind of award is honored a lot more honorable people than me. But I think one of the most important things about Falmouth is the fact that nobody needs to come here and sit around. This town is so welcoming for everybody who does volunteer work.
I'm Barbara Kanelopoulos, and I am very much taken with this honor. It means a lot to me. It means mostly that there's a recognition in this community that community service is important, that people value the act of caring for each other and doing as much as we can and giving our time to the welfare of other people.
My name is Pamela Rothstein, and I am honored by this Heritage Award. And what I'd like to say is this, that we've had an unusual time in the past year and a half or 2 years, and it's been a time where it's allowed me to sit with this recognition. And I probably share this view with the other honorees, that it just has intensified the feeling of being honored.
My name's Penny Doobie. This award, I think, is particularly meaningful because there are 5 women getting it at the same time. And we sort of represent a whole lot of different interests across town, and it's a wonderful way to make it clear that a community of women can get a lot of stuff done.
I'm Sharon Nunes, chair of the Falmouth Fund. I know that the Falmouth Historical Museum, Museums on the Green, has been giving this award out for 20 plus years, and I know that many of the previous awardees, honorees, I know personally, and am just incredibly honored to be part of that small community. But have to say that anybody who wants to help make Falmouth a better community, there are incredible opportunities to volunteer, and I'm just so honored to be part of the other 4 amazing women who are honored this evening. It's just amazing to know that there are probably hundreds of others in the community who deserve this award as much as we do.
Congratulations to all 5 winners, and thanks to Alan Russell for that coverage. It's time now for 3 Things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Select Board met this past Monday evening for a regularly scheduled meeting. Among the items on the agenda was the discussion of the proposed Northwest Fire Station. Chairman Doug Brown began the discussion on the topic, suggesting that the board should clarify a few items before town meeting, such as personnel and timelines for which stations should remain open during construction of the new station.
But we are going to revisit this on the 25th of October, and we'll have an in-depth discussion about long-term planning of whether or not we want to keep West Falmouth open for now, keep North Falmouth open for now. How many people will we need to do that, staffing, practically speaking? And so we've got a couple of weeks now to brush up and think about this. I want to have this conversation here with this board prior to town meeting, so we're clear as to what direction we're headed when we get to town meeting, if that's possible.
The Select Board also went through the November town meeting warrant to vote their recommendations. The board talked about the language of Article 15 on the warrant, which has to do with additional revenue sources for affordable housing in the community. Some of the language in the article was questioned that has to do with the amount of revenue being produced for housing. Ultimately, the board voted the article as printed to go forward for a town meeting vote in November.
I want to say that these were drafted by Peter, I believe, and Peter, Julian, Jennifer, and I sat down and went over Articles 15 and 16 explanations last week. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a really, really good job of writing those. So I agree. I
agree with that. One question and concern I have is, if approved, this article is expected to generate more than $300,000 per year in new revenue, which the Select Board proposes to appropriate to the Falmouth Affordable Housing Fund. I personally feel like we really should be looking at the amount of revenue from the short-term rentals and consider that as new revenue, not just this 1%. I suspect it's closer to half the revenue, but I really don't know what the number is yet. So I'm hoping that we don't find ourselves bound to this $300,000 number.
I don't think we are with this language. I think it's just saying we expect
nothing
to
that binds you at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's trying to give an idea. The way I read it is it's just trying to give a ballpark for town meeting members to say, like, what kind of number are we looking at?
Town Manager Julian Suso gave a brief update to the board regarding the disposition process of the town-owned wind turbines. Mr. Suso detailed the processes that have been underway so far with the consultant hired to assist the town with the disposition process.
The town has engaged outside special counsel Chris Morog, who has been before the board already, to assist in overseeing challenging contract and procurement issues. The contract has been executed with consultant Weston and Sampson in furtherance of pursuing the disposition of the wind turbines. Several meetings have been held with the consultant, including walking the turbine site, reviewing multiple details and related items to document the bid specifications required. A licensed asbestos inspector has visited the site to sign off on draft specifications. Updated draft specifications were received in mid-August. Bid specifications were received in mid-August. Further necessary bid changes were transmitted to the consultant. We have confirmed a previously unrevealed interconnection agreement with Eversource that was executed over a decade ago by personnel no longer with the town. We are cautiously reviewing this early agreement with legal counsel to avoid unforeseen and potentially costly electrical problems at the wastewater plant. We understand that in order to once again resume responsibility for the wastewater plant electrical grid, as was the case pre-wind turbine, Eversource must now prepare a design for the town to upgrade and possibly adjust some portion of this electrical grid.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. It's now time for our monthly calendar segment. Beginning on Saturday, October 16th, and on select Saturdays through November 20th, Falmouth artist Karen Ronaldo will be at the Falmouth Museum's On the Green to exhibit her work, The First Thanksgiving, 1621, the first historically accurate painting of the famous gathering. This is a rare opportunity to view the work and meet the artist at the same time, as she talks about the painting from its commission to its first brushstroke to its impressive exhibition history. Go to museumsonthegreen.org for registration information. The Alzheimer's Family Support Center invites you to join them for the 2021 Virtual Walk fundraiser. On Sunday, October 17th, community walk hubs will be active across the Cape to drop off donations and pick up AFSC t-shirts, walking maps, and more. The Falmouth Human Services at Town Hall Square will be open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 17th, and registrants can walk virtually until November 1st. Go to alzfamily-support.org for information. Opening on October 22nd, the Falmouth Theatre Guild will present the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical Carousel at the Highfield Theatre. This will be the Guild's first production since returning from its longest intermission ever, with the entire 2020-2021 season being put on hold because of COVID-19. Go to falmouththeatreguild.org for more details. And finally, don't forget to join us on October 28th at 7 p.m. for the next virtual installment of our open mic series, Poetic License. Sign up for another night of poetry and prose, stories and songs, with entertainment provided by you and your friends and neighbors. October's suggested theme is mischief. Pre-register by Wednesday, October 27th, to receive your Zoom login information. Check out fctv.org for more details. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll visit with certified health coach Patty Burke to get some valuable tips for this year's back-to-school environment. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you or anyone you know is a parent with children who have recently headed back to school, then this segment is for you. Patty Burke, a certified health coach and Falmouth in Focus contributor, joins us to provide valuable tips and resources for managing fear and anxiety that your family might be experiencing with this year's back-to-school environment amid the COVID-19 Delta variant.
The back-to-school adjustment can be difficult, but with the Delta variant on the rise, there are many added unknowns and worries for parents and their young students, from preschool to college age. Let's talk about challenges. Two areas of particular concern might be COVID-related worries and back to the busy schedule worries. So for COVID worries, let's review the facts. As of September 8th, CDC reports that 25% of COVID cases are children. This is cause for worry, and parents are on edge. Students are feeling worried that they might have fallen behind. With the last 18 months being remote or hybrid, they lost confidence socially and academically. Regarding busy schedules, COVID gave us a chance to step back and realize how we, as parents, may have been overcommitting ourselves and our kids. The pandemic allowed us to say no without guilt. As schools and activities are opening up now, we might be worried that we will become overscheduled as we were in the pre-COVID era. So let's talk about some strategies and valuable tips to alleviate these worries and to help your family create peace, sanity, and safety during this upcoming school year. Communicate as often as possible. One suggestion is to create a family meeting every week, which may include some fun, but also include a time to check in with each other. So you can ask questions like, what is your biggest worry? What can I do to ease that worry? What is the best part of your week? And what was one accomplishment that you're proud of? This helps to bring in joy and gratitude in your family. Other tips are to consider safety and don't worry about what others think of your choices. Give yourself permission to skip short notice events. Schedule your own self-care and manage uncertainty by becoming more flexible in your behaviors and schedule. For older kids, have check-in times via text or call and decide the time frequency. Let them express their needs and go over solutions and options for compromise. For younger kids, parents, set aside a half hour a day more than you did a year ago for one-on-one child time. Help kids to build social connections, perhaps after-school programs, sports and activities, to help them expand their social connections and boost their talents and confidence. Look for tutors when they might need added support. So in the end, just remember that you know your child best and to trust your instincts when it comes to their care and safety.
Thanks to Patty Burke and Andrew Richards for bringing us that segment. The American Parkinson's Disease Association, Massachusetts chapter, held its third annual Cape Cod Optimism Walk at Falmouth High School on September 19th. This year, the walk's official honoree was prominent community activist Jay Zavala and longtime FCTV member, recognized for his tireless commitment to the Parkinson Support Network. The APDA and his fellow Parkies across Cape Cod and beyond. The walk was in person this year, and of course, Falmouth in Focus was there for the festivities.
Hi, I'm Jay Zavala, and I'm fighting Parkinson's disease. I have the pleasure of being with the president of the American Parkinson's Disease Association, Massachusetts chapter, Kristen Stapleton, and the executive director of the organization, Bill Pajane. We're here in Falmouth, behind Falmouth High School at the track. We're having an Optimism Walk because we're joining with a whole bunch of others to fight Parkinson's disease.
Jay is our honoree at today's walk, and we are very excited to be here on Cape Cod. The APDA brings a lot of programs right here to Cape Cod, and this is an opportunity. First time Massachusetts has held a live event this year, so we're excited about that. Happy to see everybody coming in, and just so everybody knows, the funds that we raise today will not only go towards all-important research, but to the many programs that are delivered right here on Cape Cod. So the money stays in the community, which is always a wonderful thing.
One of the really important things that we want to make sure that we let people know about is that we have a very large community of those living with Parkinson's disease on Cape Cod. And so if you have Parkinson's disease or you know somebody that has the disease, please reach out to the APDA MA, and we have plenty of programs, support services, and exercise programs and things that can really help you, as Jay said, to fight Parkinson's disease. And so we're very happy to be here today. So it's the APDA 2021 PSN Optimism Walk awardee. And this year is Jay Zavala. And Jay was voted as the honoree this year. And I want to thank both Jay, not only as the honoree, but also as an important volunteer in the community. Jay has been able to open up many doors for us here on Cape Cod, and also meets with those suffering with Parkinson's disease and helps them navigate through their journey.
When I learned that I had Parkinson's disease, I wanted to get educated in every facet of it. So I attended an APDA-sponsored seminar at the YMCA in Hyannis and met the members of the organization, and I joined them and to help fight this disease. So there's education, there's informational seminars, and what really drew me to it was the attention given to the caregivers and care partners of those that have Parkinson's. So it's a very extensive program, and I was also drawn to the research that's going on because I feel very strongly we're going to beat this. We're going to make it happen.
The event was part of a nationwide series of Optimism Walks intended to raise funding and awareness for people with Parkinson's disease, their caregivers, and families through research, education, and support services. Thanks to Anthony Sedera and Gunnar Kanat for that coverage. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll check in with the Falmouth Public Library. Stay with us.
My name is Tracy Crago, and it is my pleasure to oversee the nonprofit organization Falmouth Volunteers in Public Schools, or Falmouth VIPS. While this year may have looked like no other in the 40 years since we have been placing volunteers in our public schools, one thing remains unchanged: volunteers matter. VIPS volunteer mentors, tutors, and academic coaches learn new skills and utilize technology to maintain important relationships with students. They participated in Zoom meetings and technology trainings to learn how to deliver their expertise, support, encouragement, and advice to students. Requests for volunteer tutors reached an all-time high. Looking ahead, tutors will continue to play a vital role in helping our students. The pandemic affected all of us, but for students, the effects of COVID have had significant impacts on their educational experience. If you are interested in becoming a volunteer tutor, we would love to hear from you. Whatever your subject or interest area might be, we can match you with a student who could benefit from your help. Tutoring sessions can be done remotely or in some cases in person. Remember, volunteers make a difference. Please consider what you can do to help a student by contacting Falmouth VIPS today. Thank you.
Welcome back to Falmouth in Focus. Fall is here, and it's a great time to curl up with a new book from the library. We stopped by Falmouth's main branch to chat with Teen Librarian Meg Krohn about some of the library services available to teens.
The YA section, of course, contains all of the books and the young adult materials, but also we try and do a lot of programming. We've had a lot of art, like art workshops. We have future digital workshops coming up. It's really a safe, nice environment. We have lots of books in the nonfiction section about choosing a college with all kinds of different categories and starting to think about what it is you want in a college. We have books about financial aid, about fellowship programs, really about all of the kind of the roommate stuff. How do you deal with the transition to college as far as like a social perspective? There's tons of books on that are funny. One of them is called The Naked Roommate. It's like real stuff that is not terribly academic. There's some great resources about like the real side of going to college. We just got a new art hanging system, a professional art hanging system, and I would love to have rotating exhibits of teen art. So I'm just getting the first entries into the exhibit. There's tons of room, like submit your art, any visual art, and what's gonna happen is we'll put it around on the walls. We'll have a proper opening, COVID, working out with that. And there's going to be prizes. So it should be really great. My goal is to make it a professional feeling and looking exhibit. So submit your stuff as soon as you can. If you have a piece of art, but it's not gallery ready, like it doesn't have a frame or you don't know how to hang it, don't worry about that. You come talk to me. We will figure out, we'll get you a frame, we'll hang it up. So all you need to do is bring me a piece of art and I will do the rest. We have a lull in our programming because kids are super busy, going to school. So the art exhibit is the main thing right now. I really want to get teen art on the wall. In future, we have a couple mindfulness events coming up, like mindful journaling and mindful weaving. The date has not been set yet, but look for several mindfulness events. Also, I'm hoping to work with FCTV and get some free courses around, digital arts and photo editing and video editing and all kinds of things. So look for those as well. Any questions you have about the teen room, about a program, about what we should have in the room, I'm the person. So always feel free to ask me the questions. I'm an excellent question answerer.
To learn more about what's going on at the library, visit their website at falmouthpubliclibrary.org. Thanks to FCTV intern Eric Larry for that piece. Falmouth High School Morning News is a long-standing program created by Falmouth High School students as part of their morning announcements. Here's more about how the high school program returned this year since going dark after the pandemic.
So the morning news is about a 10-minute production in the mornings right after class starts. Everybody comes in before class and they don't have to do anything after school. and they produce a couple-minute news segment about what's going on in the school. We talk about things like sports games, we talk about the weather for today, we talk about any events, any scholarships, pretty much anything that a student might need to know. And we also do some fun things too, like trivia. So the students do pretty much everything. We handle the directing, we handle the audio, we handle the actual anchoring, the delivery of information. Everyone gets to learn about what's going on in the school. Parents get to learn about it, students get to learn about it. There have a lot of times where I've been told that they learned something that they really needed to know from the morning news, or they learned when a sports game so that they could go there, or they learned about a scholarship that they didn't know existed, or a club that they wanted to join but didn't know if they could. And for people in the town specifically, like parents, I've been told that a lot of parents learn things about what their students are doing through the morning news. A lot of parents learn about events that they may want to go to, or that they may want to tell their students about if they hadn't already known about it. It's got a really big impact in the town for anybody who has a high school kid or even just wants to learn what the high school is doing.
Don't forget to tune into the FHS Morning News every school day on Channel 14 starting at 7:20 a.m. Thanks to Ryan Weber for that report. FCTV wants to remind you that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from a recent surprise 100th birthday celebration for Falmouth resident Jim Canty, a World War II veteran and former FBI agent. Happy birthday, Mr. Canty, and thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very
Beautiful
much.
day.
I had no idea. Yep. I thought that just another day, take my pills and sit down and read the paper.